Hello, and welcome to Dress to Kill, your favorite fashion and action movie podcast. You might notice it's a different voice today. It's me, Alma, the other host. Today's episode is a watch-through of From Russia with Love from 1963. In terms of fashion, it's one of the classiest of classic Bond films. We take a look at what made Bond's gray suit so iconic. We talk about the body types versus the silhouettes of the clothing of the time. And there's a long discussion about who we think are the hottest men of the 1960s. To see images of the looks we're talking about and to tell us what you thought about the movie or of our podcast, head to our Instagram at DressedToKillPod and find us on Twitter at DTKPOD. We hope you enjoy this episode. It's 1963. And James Bond's 007 movie franchise comes out with a second movie. This is only the second one. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
One thing I knew.
Just confirmed. And it's already, I think, like one of the best spy kind of stories and plots. It was the book From Russia with Love was the one that JFK kind of said it's his favorite book.
What?
Yeah. So it,
wait,
like,
of all time, like favorite
at
book,
the time,
period?
he was in an interview. He answered that's what he was reading, or he thought it was his favorite book, or whatever. I don't know if it's all time thing, but so he gave it a big boost. And James Bond, had only one movie prior to this. It became. It is starting to become a phenomenon. Like, everyone knows James Bond, and there's these great movies coming out. This was a second one. I feel like they really started to set kind of the tropes and some of the tropes started showing up here, gadgets and things, and then having like a Q scene for the first time. And
I feel like they're playing with their own fame a little bit, which is a sign of everything you just said.
Yeah, no, that's exactly, yeah. And, of course, it's Sean Connery still as Bond, or Sean Boy.
When he came on, I said, Sean Conn!
Sean Conn!
To an empty room.
Yeah. Sean Conn. Need to go to that con.
There's a bunch of people named Sean. Your favorite famous Sean is here. Yes. There's a dog named
Sean. Sean. And then the Bond girl is Daniela Bianchi.
Whoa.
Gorgeous.
I guess I didn't know her real name.
Yeah, Italian.
She's Italian.
Yeah, Daniela Bianchi. She's Italian.
Yeah, an Italian-Russian, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. And then the two henchmen who I love, Lotte Lenya, who plays Rosa Klebb, the lady with the red hair.
Hi.
And Robert Shaw.
Is he the first knife foot? No, he's the suit.
The
skeezy
silent
suit guy.
Silent suit guy. I love him, and I loved him so much that after I watched this movie, I put on Jaws.
Is he in Jaws?
Yes, he is.
Is
Clint.
he the shark? Is he Jaws?
He's the shark looming around, speaking.
He plays Jaws in Jaws.
Exactly. He's the fisherman guy, Quint, that they bring in to kill the shark. He's like, yeah. And yeah, I had a lot of fun watching that. Because he really does. I was like, damn, he really does have, if his like gray hair makeup was a little bit better in Jaws, he really does have range. No, but yeah, it's that movie has great 007 throwbacks to it, because there's a scene where they catch the shark, they cut it open, and a license plate falls out, and it's from Louisiana, and it says 007 on it as a throwback to Live and Let Die.
Isn't that awesome? Cool.
I know, it's so cute.
My God, movies really had fun and played together.
Yeah, right?
When the industry was like young enough but also old enough to like be playing and not have everything be extreme and oh my God, can you get it done?
Yeah.
But then also to have it small enough still that it was like just the cul-de-sac.
I love the play. So cute. Yeah, little crossover Easter eggs. Anyway, let's get into the movie.
Yes.
So the cold open starts out with Red Grant, the Red Grant / Quint, the henchman, and you see
this is the blonde henchman.
The blonde henchman, yeah.
Okay. And this is not who I was describing, and I just realized that.
Yep. No, yeah,
that's all.
This is
and him playing a German guy now makes more sense.
Russian.
He played a German guy in Jaws, I thought.
Oh, in Jaws.
This is who we're talking about?
That's who we're talking about. Wait, is he German in Jaws? He has an accent. I didn't know.
I don't know. Germanic is what we do when we don't know. We say, I think he's of Germanic descent in that movie.
Yep.
Descent?
That's it. Mm-hmm.
That sounds wrong coming out loud.
That's correct.
That's correct.
Yeah. You're second guessing yourself.
Yeah, I don't know what's left or right anymore.
Yeah. But in this cold open, you see him. I love a training sequence, by the way, and you see who you think is Sean Connery or James Bond, and turns out he's just training.
Which I'm really glad, because when I was watching it, I was like, first of all, I'm just gonna humble brag to everyone for a minute. I got to watch this in 4K. What is the other part? HDR?
Yeah.
4K HDR. I don't know what HDR for watching movies means. I know what it is for shooting stuff because I shoot things, but it means something different apparently in a print of a film. Oh. And all I know is it was so crisp and gorgeous. Like I could see the texture of clothes that I wouldn't have had no idea about otherwise, and I was stoked on it. Oh, but in this 4K whatever, I saw a lot of details. I was noticing a lot of details. And in that scene, I was like, man, is this just the 4K? I can see the makeup plastered on his face. I was like, it's too pale. I kept like, is it because they're shooting at night or day for night? Like they're shooting dark, so they want him to be whiter? Like, what's going on? And then finally it was the mask reveal, and I was like, oh, is that? I think that's got to be why, right?
Yeah. Try to make him look a little less
perfectly himself.
Yeah. But I bet, it's less noticeable on like a regular screen, though. I bet.
Maybe. Yeah. You know what I want to see? I want to see one of those games where you match the things together of all the normal actor people's faces and then all the masks that have been made of their dead faces, and just to see if you'd even match the right people to the right faces. You know what I mean?
There's so many in Mission Impossible.
Just all the time when it like turns out they're dead and it's like the dead body is not, or like they're wearing a mask of the person like face off or something, and you're like, no,
so
that's not really them at all. That'd be such a fun game.
That would be challenging. That would be extremely challenging. So I love this cold open. It's actually, I mean, Sean Connery's in it, but it doesn't actually have James Bond in it. And then it goes straight into this like bombastic horns of the opening title sequence, which cool. I love. This is one of my favorite opening title sequences because it's so simple.
This is one of my favorites.
Oh, great.
I loved it, but not specifically because it's so simple. I loved that they were working with shadow and texture and depth, and it sounds like I'm describing any intro, but really this one plays with depth actually more than maybe any other and that I've seen. I don't know. I just thought, I think this is my favorite now.
Awesome. Yeah.
So cool. Interesting. Well done. It made me, while watching it, start to like brainstorm and take notes on how I want to shoot something like it. And that's cute. When that happens, you know you love something.
Inspired.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Fully. I screamed out loud. At this point, I did have a friend watching with me. And I screamed out loud, I'm so inspired.
Oh, cute. I love that so much. I'm so happy Bond can inspire you like that.
I wrote in my notes, I want to imitate this intro with an underline.
Yeah. Like I love, so when I say simple, it's just like, you know, the analogness of just projector on a body. Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
But like you said, there's so much to it. Like the belly dancers, jingly things, like the coins and stuff, like texture and
jingly
light.
Things.
The jingly things.
Jingly things all the way. Jingly things, jingly things. Jingly things.
But it started, that idea came from the producers. I can't remember which producer, Albert or Cubby Broccoli or Saltzman. I can't remember. One of them just lifted their shirt up and standing in front of the projector said, I want it to look like this. So like with his big belly just sticking out and like
perfect.
He got the point across
immediately.
Depth. Yeah, and I thought it looks great. It gets you excited for the movie, and I fucking love the music.
It felt like it was so cool and like so obvious. Like, this is what you want to do with a projector. This is how you play with a projector with title sequences. As compared to some of the other ones, I was like, what feels so like forced about this? And not that I like super dislike any of the others, although I'm sure there's a few I do. But this one just felt like, of course, this just is so satisfying because this is how you want to use these tools.
Ah, yes. Best use of the tool kind of situation.
That's how it felt.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. Oh, you know what? I forgot to shout out the costume designer for this.
Oh.
It's Jocelyn Rickards, who I took a brief gander at her IMDb, and I have to say I've only seen one other movie by her that she's costumed, and it's Blow Up by Michelangelo Antonioni. Yeah, the 1966. Oh. Yeah, the one about the fashion photographer.
Oh.
So great costuming. Like, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
I've seen it.
It has like
I've more so noticed nudity than costumes
than clothes.
I'll have to.
There's
bring
like
it back up.
a few moments when he's actually taking pictures of clothes on women.
She's getting hired for that job, and she's like, "Oh my! I mean, this is a lot of pressure. He's shooting fashion," and they're like, "Don't worry, they're not wearing much most of the time."
Yeah, and you know she's credited for just dresses. So like, I guess she just did the key dresses and the pieces, like not the rest of
whole thing.
Yeah, not the rest of it. But that
imagine
I thought was
being
cool.
credited as dresses.
Mm-hmm. Dresses,
Alana.
Dresses, Alana. Yes. Okay, so let's go into the outfits.
I have one quick moment that comes up right at the top that gave me a real surprise that I'm going to bring up. When we're watching the guy who we think is Germanic, but in this movie's British, right? He doesn't talk until the end, and his accent's so intense. I'm like, is that him? Or does he talk earlier?
Oh no, he doesn't talk. For
right?
Like
that's
most
the whole thing.
Of the movie. Yeah, and then
at the end when he talks, I was like, the fuck? This is your voice?
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. What about him? Red Grant.
First of all, the whole time he spoke at the end, he could not say a line without me repeating it out loud, trying to do that accent. And all I could think of was like, man, if I hear him talk, I'm gonna do that accent on the podcast. Like two perfectly British movie accents.
That's hilarious.
The moment where he's laying down and this lady comes out and does a big old booby masseuse.
Mm-hmm,
she like pulls her dress off and she's just wearing a bikini, which is what you have to wear as a masseuse. Mm-hmm. You can only wear a bikini to massage someone, especially if you have boobies. And she's in this bikini and I'm like, okay, so a lady's getting in a bikini? Okay. And then she bends down to massage him like, okay, what, really?
I thought it was... Okay, so it's
me.
her underwear, though, is it not? You think it's a bikini? I mean, I thought she was just taking off her clothes and she's just wearing underwear underneath.
I guess. I feel like
which
I
is
need
even
to
weirder.
Be in 1963 to know, which I thought it was.
Yeah. My understanding is on Spectre Island, you're talking about when they get to Spectre Island, right? And it's what it's called. And then the soldiers, whatever, who are training, also have beautiful women to massage them at their disposal, and you can do that outside, and sometimes it's in their underwear. I guess is what the deal is there.
The fact that they're villains in the villain lair island, anything goes. You expect it to be not great in the way it's treating many people.
Yes.
So like it's chill. It reminded me so much of, is it Gold? Which one comes after this where the other lady gets into skimpy clothes and then gives a massage?
Gosh, there's a
and then
couple
gets her
of them,
butt slapped.
You're probably thinking of Thunderball.
I think it's the one with the iconic.
The
Terry Cloth.
Then that's Goldfinger.
Is that Goldfinger?
It basically happens in both subsequent movies. Like after this, it's like,
Well,
yeah,
that's what stood out most about it to me. Was I was like, and it's how many times has this happened?
It's like one after, like every year after this.
Every year, get into your bikinis and give me a touch.
My God. Yeah.
Okay, looks.
Yeah, and
I need you to go first because I still haven't decided between a couple.
That's perfect because my outfit is in this this scene that we're talking about. Not exactly. I wonder if you'll guess which outfit that I'm thinking though.
Wait, it's in the scene
that we're talking about.
It is going to be
the towel.
3.
No, I'm just kidding.
The towel. We just love terry cloth.
No,
it's going to be the black suits that the guys wear.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
or outfits.
So there's this
like
one
a turtleneck or something.
The one guy that greets her off of the chopper. He's wearing a black trench coat and black turtleneck, and actually, I guess it's black. It looks black in the photos, but it reads a little bit more like dark brown. And then boots, where the pants are tucked in. He looked great in the whole scene when they're walking through the training sequence and everything. It was a good I love the leather trench.
A cute outfit. I didn't realize that it was I did not realize this while watching. I didn't realize it was a trench.
Yeah,
even in my 4K.
I like it. I like that outfit, but this is the first time I really gave it a look. Like, it's belted and everything. He looks put together, but still, like, I mean, he looks badass. Like, he looks cool. Yeah, he looks cool.
This was the first time when this came up, all I was thinking about was her outfit and how ugly I think it is.
Yes.
I even spoke out loud about this too. God, I was really vocal watching this, apparently. I just remember being like, oh my God, what khaki grandma.
Oh my God, yeah. Her outfits are
exactly
something.
Exactly that. Yep.
But yeah, it fits her character. So, I'm not going to knock it for that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my first. It's the greeter guy in the leather trench.
Greeter guy, leather trench. Okay, cool.
Does whatever a greeter guy can.
Does whatever a greeter guy, leather trench is gonna do. Sorry. Let's make a reel out of that beautiful song.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just pull a muscle and be like, whatever, it's our podcast, and do something breaking the rules? I think I'm gonna break the rules.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna break the rules, and for my number one, do 2 different dresses because they're both really short screen time. And
okay,
and they're really similar, and I like them for the same reason.
Oh my God. Okay.
You
What's your 1A?
1A is, I think it's khaki and not white. Khaki looking dress that a woman wears walking out of.
Oh, okay.
With like a big old fluffy hat and pointed toe shoes, square neck, tight dress with a belt that the woman wears walking out of, what's his name's office?
Kerim Bey's outfit? I mean, office?
Yes.
That's not khaki. Did you say khaki?
Oh, I said khaki or white.
Oh, white.
I think
it's definitely white.
She walks through the scene from back to front, crossing through a few different lights.
Yeah, it looks
and
different.
She's gone. She's there for like 6 seconds on screen, if that. And the whole thing is she's like getting dressed, and they look in, they're like, oh, he had a lady all naked in here. Like his B storyline of being like Mr. Seed to the world is a whole thing.
No,
I don't like it. I was gonna say I don't know about it. I know about it. I hate it.
This is his like late
wife,
his wife, or maybe he calls her his mistress. But like,
well, this could be his wife or his lady. Yeah, with the thing. Okay, never mind. I changed it. It's not as bad as I thought.
It's the same lady. Yeah,
because they do emphasize the sex with him.
Yeah, I know. Because there is still that
like,
side.
Every single scene he's in, sex with him is emphasized. So
I know.
I know. But you're right. This is the same woman, so that makes it less bad. It's not like different ladies every day.
Yeah.
Wow, we're currently with him. I'm sure every week it shifts, but
yeah, exactly. in this week that we're hanging out with him.
Well, then it's perfect because it's the 2 dresses she wears are the 2 I was going to pick. This, which is the one I would have dismissed because it's like 6 seconds on screen, but it's such a cool look, and I think I actually might like this one better.
I do
with the hat too.
Okay, so since
and the second dress.
Yes,
you
the
want to talk about this
dress.
I like the belt on this too. That it's obviously matching, same material, but it looks like an actual belt. It's not just like a piece of fabric.
Yeah, let's talk about this because I love that dress. It feels a bit Marilyn, like the way she walks out.
It's very classic 50s, 60s shape.
I know, that's the thing. I feel like this whole movie, the wardrobe feels so classic 60s 50s shape. Like you just said.
Yeah, to a good degree. Yeah, more than I thought, actually, now that you say that.
And this is what I was saying when off mic, I was saying how I was looking at the costumes in this in a different light, and it reminds me of when you look at old McCall's patterns, like homemaking patterns.
Yes.
All of the stuff I feel like are based off of these women, like the dresses and the silhouettes, they all look like these ladies.
Then like 4 inches longer here and 4 inches less tight here. And you're like, okay, well.
And it's very much like of a specific time. And
yes, of course,
looking at, well, we'll talk about Tania's outfits later, but yeah, I have something to say about that. But let's go back to this white dress.
We'll call her the mistress, right?
Yeah, the mistress.
She's likely a mistress.
I had such a hard time picking between her 2 dresses because
Which 2? These 2?
because one
Really?
of them is on my list. Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the other thing I was going to do was try to get you to say yours first and pick the other one.
Okay.
So whatever, we're talking about both of them.
The other one's on my list. So yes. Anyway,
Is the orange one on your list?
it's the orange
We'll just
one.
wait. We'll leave it on your list.
Okay.
Okay, so my number 1's the khaki.
And
Or
white. Khaki or white.
If it's khaki, it's like, it's not a material of khaki. It's just a really pale.
Yeah.
Could be an off-white, but
I love this dress. So cute. I actually really don't like the hat though. So that's the only reason why I went with
like
the other one.
bigness of the hat. The texture of it, I don't like.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like a bumpy
basket
woven instead of like a
yeah.
smooth woven, which is a thing that I don't know how to put any of this into words, but I recognize that from the late 50s and 60s as a thing, and I don't like it. It makes me think of grandmothers in a not stylish way.
Yeah.
She's wearing that same necklace she wears in both also. And we should say this dress is short-sleeved, very snug, hourglass shape, big time, square neck, like I had said. And then just like in that basic 1950s, 60s silhouette. The necklace, she wears it in both, and she's like playing with it, so it's emphasized. I don't like the necklace.
Yeah, it's whatever to me. Her jewelry. But yeah, the square neck, though, is killer. So cute.
Real cute.
Cute. Okay, cute. So my number 2 then is James Bond's iconic gray suit.
Knew it.
Yeah, right? Okay, first of all, this movie, I just wrote Battle of the Gray Suits because all the men are in gray suits.
Yes.
Like all
Is this the one you're talking about?
Yes, that's the one.
Is this your card? When I saw all the gray suits, I was like, damn, they could have put them in different stuff. And I was like, but Elma's going to think they're different. Like, I just kept talking about what you would think.
Dude, I thought they had the opportunity to put them in different. I agreed, man. I was like, they should have done a different, because it was like same color shirt, same color suit, pretty much. Maybe they had a different pattern. I know his is a Glen check, and I think Kerim Bey's one is a little different. It was like stripes or something. But whatever. They all read gray with a navy tie, white pocket square, white shirt, hat. But I think that's just very classic 60s.
I feel like they're trying to be like, any
time.
guy who's so sexually attractive in his hometown wears gray.
Sure. But I love the way Connery wears his with the hat and the sunglasses. So cute. And when we talk about like gray suits in Bond movies and other Bond movies,
this is why it's classic.
And this is the one that I always like to come back to.
Yeah.
Like, Goldfinger, they update it with a 3-piece suit. I think we talked about that too. And this is the one though.
Okay, so I watched this movie with a friend of mine, and he had a lot to say about the suits.
Tell me.
He just had a lot to say about them that I was like, I don't even know. I don't know suits well enough to understand what you're saying. But one thing he kept reiterating, and he knows Elma, you know who that's
a friend.
He kept saying, the suits are nice and all, but I hate the fit. I hate the fit of these suits. He kept going on and on about how the fit, and to be fair, I agree with him. I was thinking that before, and he's like, I bet Elma's gonna love them, and she's gonna have these suits. I was like, well, we'll find out, won't we? You did pick a suit, so there's one.
Well, okay, let me defend the fit.
Yes, defend the fit. He also said, he's like, she's gonna have all these things. I was like, well, I'll relay the message.
It depends. Like, I mean, when you look at anything now, like old now with new eyes, the fit is gonna look weird to you. But I don't know if that's what he means. If he means for the time the fit looked bad, or for his taste now the fit.
I think his taste is just one note as like, I don't like it now. Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't think he's like considering. Oh no, you know what he was considering, because he started talking about Mad Men, and he taught me. I didn't know that Mad Men stood for Madison Avenue Men.
Yes,
I never knew.
Yeah.
And then also I found out, because Mad Men, the show, takes place 1960 to 1970. Madison Avenue Men starts in the 50s, where the name comes from and everything. Like, it might actually be in 1950. Like, it's quite earlier. I didn't realize all that.
The show?
The name.
Oh, the name. Yeah. I feel like when modern things do period pieces like that,
of course,
they're going to contemporize it a little bit.
Of course, yeah. What am I talking about?
They want Donald Draper to look like a fucking hottie.
Yeah.
Like,
and who's the main girl with the red hair? Not the main, but
Joan
the main
girl.
redhead. Joan.
Yeah.
Like, her dresses fit like a fucking glove.
Yeah, like
it
it's
did not
latex.
fit that way back then.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
this is a latex knit.
Yeah. latex
Joan.
tweed
What are we
suit.
doing for Joan? Latex tweed, please.
Yeah,
in red.
Exactly. Like
Or
that's not
green.
really the fit that I mean, they use vintage
You're
pieces.
so right.
They sometimes do use
But
vintage pieces.
they're gonna tailor
They can
them.
still tailor.
No
it,
question.
Yeah. So I think
And
it's
they put
just a
latex
thing at the
underneath,
time.
which we now know.
Yeah.
Confirmed. Fake news.
But, you know, I mean, if you watch all the, and I'd have to do like a real comparison of like the men's suits in the James Bond movies from like 1962 to 1960, whatever, 7.
Mm-hmm.
Compare all the gray suits, see what fits are the best. I don't know.
This
But
is, you have such a good argument with this. I love hearing this. This is
yeah,
vital, valid.
I think he looks great. That's all.
Yeah, I think he looks good too. Well, I still think they look a little too loose, but hearing what
Yeah,
you're saying,
yeah.
I'm like, I'm with you. Since I'm gonna let you have the orange dress,
Mm-hmm.
my number 2. I'm at all my costumes are at the end of the movie, and all yours
Okay.
are at the start.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have a chronological
Oh my
jumping
God.
game.
Cool. Yeah.
My number 2 becomes the fighting gypsy girl
Uh-huh.
outfit. I chose the red top outfit, but I love them both.
Okay. Cute. Yes.
But I'm going
I did
with
like
red.
them.
Probably because she's more tan,
Ah.
and I've always aspired as a Hawaii girl to be more tan.
Between the
But they're
two,
both so
I like
cute.
the green top.
You like the green? Oh, well, we
Yeah.
can just be them together.
We can
then.
cosplay.
Look around at Goodwill. If you find skirts like that, we will cosplay them immediately for sure.
And the scarves.
I totally had a
The
skirt like
scarves
that
and the
in high
skirt.
school, but
Cute.
not with the slits.
You know, I do like the little split V and the sleeves on the red top though.
Yeah.
Or actually, maybe she just yeah, and then it's like it must be like a longer top that she just tucks into
Yeah.
her. You know.
You know,
Like
I don't
when-
think it actually is, but it looks like it's
Oh,
meant to
it
look
looks
like
like
it
it,
is.
yeah.
If that makes sense. I
Yes.
don't know. Here's the bottom line. I don't know.
Okay. Do you want to talk about this scene?
Yeah, we can talk about this scene for sure.
So the scene is Kerim Bey takes Bond to talk to some people, and it happens to be at like this gypsy camp, and there's 2 women who are fighting over marrying someone, a guy.
Yeah.
Right, is the premise. Yeah.
They're like animals.
Yeah,
Like, they are
like-
let out of their cages and immediately
Yes.
trying to scratch at each other.
That's exactly it. Let out of their cages.
I feel like the acting was, you are a lioness. The end. Someone's after your cubs. Go.
Yeah. But then what the fuck, in the end it's like, okay, and all this fighting
So
and stuff
stupid.
happens. So dumb.
The
is-
fighting, whoa, Gypsy Town battle is what it says in my notes. I like that description.
The fighting happens, and then all of a sudden they don't care about the person that they loved anymore, or what?
The fighting happens, and James
Jim-
the Bond saves this one guy's life, and he's like, great, you're his son now. First of all, like,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, and he has the appropriate reaction. That's a cheeky little moment that
Yeah.
we love in old school James Bond movies. And then the guy says to him, the guy who's now his father, says to him, oh, we're going to let you decide between which woman gets the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sends both of the women to him, to his like tent or whatever. And he's like, they're both yours. Like, he's supposed to spend the night with them and then decide which one gets the prince or some shit. Like, come on.
Yeah.
This is never going to happen, you fantastic fantasy.
Fantasy.
My
Yeah,
God.
exactly.
If JFK is reading that scene in that way, I don't want to be Marilyn.
Yeah,
Certainly
dude.
don't want to be Jackie. Oops, sorry.
Oh shit, I wonder, because I've read this book, but it's been so long. I don't remember about how this scene was written or if it was in there.
My overall
Good
thoughts
job
on
with
this
it.
movie are like, there's so much sexist shit in it. This movie does not pass the sexism test.
No,
1%.
yeah.
Incredibly sexist to me. And I don't know that it passes a race test either. I feel like all kind of people are playing all kind of parts. But whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I love.
It's still fun to watch.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it is fun to watch. I love the actor Pedro Almodovar. I don't know how to say his last name.
I don't even know his name at all, so you're above me.
The Kerim Bey. I mean, I love him as an actor. He's
the guy with all the kids.
the ladies. Yeah, and the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ladies and the kids. But I think he's Mexican. He's Hispanic. And
I like him too. He's great.
And then he's great in the part. But you know, he had cancer while they were filming this.
While they were filming.
He like died right after they wrapped.
Oh my God.
I know. Crazy.
Is that why when he got shot in the arm and had a bullet hole in him bleeding out, that he didn't have to do anything about it? They put his arm in a sling and he was just chill to hang out? because that happens in the movie.
Yeah.
He gets James Bond. So the guy is shot in the
Yeah.
arm. James Bond goes and gets a long piece of fabric from someone. And
Oh,
you're like,
yes,
oh,
yes,
he's
yes.
going to cut off the wound from the blood supply and tie it around his arm or something.
He just puts it in-
And then he just puts it in a sling. And you're like, I'm sorry, this
that'll
isn't
help
a
the bleeding.
cast. That's not going to help him not die from bleeding out of his arm.
Yeah. The
I was
logic there.
so shocked. I also wrote, what the fuck, in my notes. So you're going to teach kids that they can do this?
That's not how it works.
No, this is not how that works. But I'm so sorry that guy had cancer. But what a lovely thing for him to be able to accomplish something like this.
I know. And he was super well loved and like received and everything. And he did great for being
So well.
Yeah.
He did great in general. I thought he was a great character, acted super well,
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah. Super jolly.
I don't love the sexism, but I assume that's in the script.
Yeah. The scene where Tanya's getting recruited by the Rosa Klebb,
Yeah.
and
Rosa Klebb just becomes Weinstein to her.
Yes, exactly.
Treats her straight up like, what is the guy from
the
Bombshell? The Fox News
Fox
dude?
guy. Yeah.
Treats him like just any of those predatory position of power men.
Yep. And in the book, this is the one thing I remember from the book. She was much more like vulgar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Is she supposed to be gay, or is she just supposed to
yes.
be acting like a man? Oh, okay.
So in the movie, she kind of touches her hair and like kind of strokes her shoulder or whatever a little bit creepily. In the book, she actually like goes away for a second and comes back wearing like a nightgown, like come have sex with me, like situation with like, and the way that Ian Fleming describes her, how she looked and appeared in the book is like the makeup was like grotesque and awful, like like she looked scary, and Tanya runs out being scared of like I don't know what to do or whatever, and they really toned that down in the movie. Obviously it probably would have looked like too comical or just too shocking, but that's this version of it.
What's crazy is this is the first time it registered to me that a female a hot lady, a sexually attractive, made to look attractive female in a James Bond movie shows that she's creeped out by someone coming on to her. Almost every other time in any James Bond that I've seen, no matter who's coming on to them, they seem like
into
and now I'm gonna be in love with you.
Yeah.
Or like whatever.
know.
And this is the only time I've seen that, and it's I don't want to say because, but probably because it's a woman.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
It is crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
Are we talking a bit of chronologicals before we move on? Because I got one.
Oh, go for it.
You know, when she walks up to our British question mark,
Russian
white-haired
question mark,
guy,
German question mark.
yeah, what is his name?
Red Grant.
Red Grant. When she walks up to Red Grant to be like, is he worthy? Let's find out.
Oh yeah.
And she just comes from the side with brass knuckles and smacks him in the stomach real hard. I immediately was like, that's also how I test my potential boyfriend. It's like, I love that. I gotta get that line in. I love that moment. Such a good use of this type of script to bring playfulness and comedy into this type of script.
Yeah.
The way she super overacts it and everything.
Oh yeah. I love that part. And he doesn't move at all like a statue.
So good. So funny.
Yeah.
That's the shit we love about the early James Bond movies. That's what makes up for some of the sexism. Or it makes it watchable through some of the sexism. Is that you have moments like that that are so great.
Yeah. I know. That's the thing. You have
I feel like it's worth pointing out, you know?
Thank you. Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
Should we go back to our outfits? Is it
Yes.
my number 3? You said your number 2, right?
I said my number 2.
Okay. My number 3 is the orange dress of Kerim Bey's Mistress. And I only chose the orange one because it doesn't have the hat. And in the setting that she's sitting in, she looks perfect.
I think the orange, I want the white dress in the orange fabric.
Yeah.
If I could
choose. That would be great. Ooh. Yeah, because it has a little
and
cap
then I
sleeve.
wouldn't have the hat.
Yeah.
I like the little caps. I like the square neck. I don't as much love the like wide, what do you call that, with like a slightly almost off shoulder shape of the orange dress.
Well, I do like that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Generally, but
it's
compared with the other
it's
one,
wider set. Yeah.
I personally like the other cut better for me.
Yeah. I hear that.
But the the fabric is like, it's very much like a Thai silk two-tone type of fabric.
Yeah, like slightly iridescent. It's like
it's like orange and
silk.
Yellow and gold, shiny
Silk Dupioni.
And silk Dupioni.
And the setting that she's sitting in has like green pillows, teal curtains, and her red fingernails. Like the whole thing looks so beautiful. I always I love that shot. It's really nice colors.
I don't understand why they have him so disinterested in her. I don't know what they're trying to say there.
Trying to read or whatever he says.
He has like 500 male children all in the same age range, so clearly he was spreading seed.
Yeah.
And he's just had sex with her in a previous scene, but in this scene he's like, I can't be bothered.
But hey, it saved his life.
It did save his life.
Bomb after. So
I also hate the sexual desperation they always have in women in these early movies.
No.
Like women literally in real life were not allowed to even be sexual or even suggest that they had their own sexual wants. You literally were not allowed.
Yeah.
Yet in films like this, the women's whole entire persona is desperately wanting sex. Like it's so
like
insane and like mind fuckery.
Yeah. Like the Tania stuff. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
We have more to talk about.
Yeah. We'll get there. But what I do love about the cheeky like interplay men women back then is like Moneypenny and him's relationship. Like they have fun flirting with like cute little quips back and forth.
I like that she flirts with him, but I think her character is so sad. It makes me upset when I see her
because she also is a bit desperate for him.
She's desperate for him obsessively, like in a stupid way that I think is like. I think the way that if I were to have written this, the way I would have Moneypenny played is I'd have him always trying to flirt with her and her being the only woman who's always denying him.
Well, yeah.
That would be such a more interesting character that we don't see anywhere, that like occasionally we've had a girl like that. But then by the end of the movie, every time by act 3, she's like, just kidding, marry me. I'm desperately in love with you. And we have an opportunity to have someone do that throughout only in Moneypenny. She's the only character we have that opportunity with.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, what you're saying they do that later, and in like when you reach towards the 90s and stuff later, but
or it could be a brother sister kind of relationship, which I'd love to see Bond have.
And also that happens more in the Roger Moore era, I think.
Oh, does it?
Feels less
is it because
sexual
Roger Moore is like a cartoon and it's hard to see him sexually? They're like, we need to change the script. He can't play that. Yeah. This man is falling through buildings onto cakes.
Yes.
His car is cut in half and he still drives it for 4 blocks, and then he comes out in clown shoes that are bright red, so we can't have him be horny.
I can't wait till you see like Moonraker, because that's a whole nother era, which I love.
Yeah. Also, this friend of mine I was watching the movie with, I said, he was like, who's your favorite Bond? I was like, oh, Sean Connery. And I didn't know that before watching the movies, but since watching them I'm like, oh yeah, he's by far the hottest to me. And he was like, really? So shocked. I'm like, what? Where's the shock? I don't understand. Who would you think I picked? And I was like, Craig or something, like a recent one maybe.
Who knows?
He said Pierce Brosnan first of all. I'm like, you just finished telling me how Pierce Brosnan is so cheesy in all the movies, and I agree, like they aren't terrible movies, but compared, he doesn't have any of the charm or the appeal. He's just, because it's kind of cheesy. Like he delivers his lines like robotically, and those movies are very sexist in a I know I'm sexist kind of way, which kind of sucks more.
I know.
Like these movies, like, and the old ones feel like they're so sexist, but they don't quite understand what they're doing wrong. Know yet,
yeah.
But then later movies, you're like, oh, I know how to do it wrong. Where's Weinstein? Let's do it. And you're like, oh God,
it's awful.
Worse. Even worse.
Even and then also in the 70s, it's more like, okay, women, like the women's lib thing, like there's more of
making fun of
battle of the
women
sexes,
pushing back, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but yeah, the 90s was like,
like we know, and you even accomplished things, but like, let's just put you where you belong.
But I mean, Pierce Brosnan is very pretty.
Yeah, he's very pretty. Wait, there was a reason I brought that up, and I can't remember now.
Why is he your favorite? He was shocked that Sean Connery was your favorite?
Yeah, he was so shocked. He even Googled who were the like most attractive men in the 60s. And he was trying to fight me on like, James Dean is hotter and this person's hotter. Yeah. And I was like, okay, first of all, I never said he's the hottest guy in 1960.
No, yeah, he's the hottest Bond. Okay.
But we had this really interesting conversation. He had all these Google lists, so we were truly comparing like iconically attractive male James Dean clearly was on there, but he died in the 50s, early 50s.
Oh gosh.
So like he doesn't count for 60s.
Yeah.
And I
Clint
thought,
Eastwood?
and he was 24 when he died. So like, is it even okay to still think he's hot
Oh my god.
at our ages?
Oh,
Yes.
a little bit.
Yes, but soon it won't be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, he's cool and like attractive and all, and I certainly think he seems like a very attractive guy in his acting and beautiful in pictures.
Beautiful.
But we only knew him for he was
Like
famous for such
2
a short amount of
minutes.
time. Like we only have
Yeah.
such a one-dimensional perspective of him that I'm like,
It's true.
comparing him to other actors is kind of hard.
Yeah.
And then he talked about who's Marlon Brando.
Mm-hmm. You know, he's not my.
That's what
tell
I said.
me.
I was like, oh no, wait, Marlon Brando. I'm mixing them up. Who's in
Okay.
Godfather?
Marlon Brando.
Okay, that's
is
what I'm
the
talking about.
older Marlon Brando.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
they're both in Godfather.
Oh, gosh,
Who's
which
the
one?
younger guy in Godfather?
Pacino.
Pacino.
No.
Al
Oh,
Pacino. He
okay.
said Al Pacino and Marlon Brando as should be the hottest
Ooh.
people from like 60s era.
I disagree.
And I was like, excuse me, who thinks Al Pacino's hot?
Yeah.
He's a cartoon right now. People make fun of him at
thinks
the moment. How is he like a quote unquote hot guy?
No, I never.
Oh my,
no,
I'm so
he
glad to
can't.
hear this because
Like,
he was shocked that I was like, I don't think he's hot. Shocked
I don't
and
think he's
adamant
hot.
that women think he's hot.
No. Oh,
Think,
no, no,
I
no,
literally
no,
am
no.
shaking your hand across the table. Impossible.
Okay. I would say Clint Eastwood over
Clint
any of them.
Eastwood.
When he was young, he was beautiful.
I need to be reminded of pictures when he was young, but I don't think he was quite my type. I liked who's the guy who makes the dressing?
The what? The
Newman.
what?
Paul Newman when he was
Also,
young.
me too. Oh,
Gorgeous.
he's so cute. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I do think who's the older Godfather I just said? Marlon Brando. I think he was gorgeous when he was young, but
He
I said
was,
the problem with him is he made like a really fucked up sexual movie right away when he was young, and I cannot separate it from his face.
Ooh, sure.
It just makes me think like rapey when I look at him.
Yeah.
He's so pretty, but like rapey pretty is not good for me.
Yeah, no. You don't want rapey pretty. Marlon Brando was too like
Pretty?
Yeah,
Baby
like I'm too cool for everything.
Yes, and his
I'm
attitude was
just
that.
pouty
And that kind of attitude on top of being rapey, you're like,
Isn't-
my
yeah.
God, get out of town.
not so attractive. Anyway.
Yeah. He was fighting me so hard on Al Pacino. Literally, he
Oh,
was
God.
like, you're crazy. He's like, why do you think he's the Godfather? I was like, not because of his looks.
No.
What do you mean? Why do I think? What?
Yeah, like even as Tony Montana, never
Yeah,
thought he
I'm
was
like,
hot.
I think the whole thing was like the girl's way hotter than him. How to get
Yes.
her must have been the money and drugs,
Yeah,
right? Wasn't that kind of
yeah.
like the vibe?
Anyway,
God.
this is
Okay.
a hot
Huge
man of
tangent, but, like,
1960s.
now we need to do a poll. When this episode comes out, we gotta do a poll on the hot men of the 1960s.
I think Sean Connery is charming the way that he
As a
acts.
character in
Yeah.
James Bond, I'm like, there's no wonder he's James Bond. Like, it makes sense. He carries the movies. If it wasn't for
Yes.
his character being the way he is, I wouldn't love these movies.
Yeah.
The early ones.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of the weird character things, but yeah.
But the way
he carries
his
himself.
personality
Yeah,
seems to be.
totally.
Yeah, outside of the sexism. But he almost seems to be just cheekily smiling along most of the times with the sexism. It doesn't seem like he doesn't instigate it as much as the other characters, men, do in my so far.
Yeah,
viewing.
maybe the character is written that way just to keep a little bit of the cool factor.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
think it's not for our purposes, but it does support me liking him.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, we need to mention, though, because Sean Connery himself in real life was not. Okay, well,
Vaguely,
he's
this
been
sounds familiar.
interviewed,
Maybe I'm
I
gonna
feel
remember.
like, by like Barbara Walters, someone big, you know. He's been
Ooh.
interviewed on like
Okay.
big, and he's said publicly that if sometimes you need to hit a woman to, I know, it's awful.
Well, then he was a perfect cast. God, I hate it.
I know, I hate it. And then he like even defended his position on it. And it was like, okay, dude, you need to.
Okay, definitely the character then.
Yeah, as a sign of the time. I mean, he is a man of that time, so
Yeah.
it's not unusual. But
Dude, of this breakdown so far, I would definitely, if I had to pick IRL, I would be picking James Dean. And just being like, please don't die on me. Because you're the only one that seems a little bit more sane.
You're the only hope.
in how you treat people.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Yeah, where were we?
We just did the orange dress.
Yes, the orange dress. So you're number 3.
Okay, my number 3 is there is a hench fellow. I don't know details. He's the first one to have a knife come out of his shoe.
Yeah.
And he's wearing like a white sailor-y, peacoat-y jacket. I call it a white jackety sailor.
Duffel coat, I think they're called, with the toggle
It is
latches.
toggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me pull the picture
I think it's
up.
called a duffel coat.
Duffel coat. Yeah, it's the toggle, and it's the kind where like it almost looks like it has a hood because of the way the collar is, but it's not. It's square in the back.
It's not. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, this is the same guy I think that you liked in the black turtleneck earlier.
Oh my God. Yes.
Or in the black trench.
That's
No
him.
way.
That's him.
Damn, he's a
good.
styling guy.
Yeah, for real. That's so funny. I forgot that.
I just love the way he wears this sailor coat, and he's got it on top of all black. It's like a cream, slightly off-white sailor coat, some kind of felt, I think, something like denser.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a black turtleneck and black pants, black shoes underneath, and I just think it looks so beatnik cool.
Yeah, I liked this piece too.
Beatnik.
I put it in the honorables for sure because I thought it looked different than like everything else on screen, and he was fitting. He's like, dressed for the occasion. He's like, I'm keeping all my Spectre like spy clothes on underneath, but let me put a white double coat on it since we're going boating.
Indeed.
With the hat.
Going boating. But the outfit that number 3 is wearing is like,
oh my God.
I said grandma went to the military.
This outfit, like,
it's terrible,
poorly tailored. Like, I mean, when you compare everyone else's clothes, like literally everyone else's clothes in this movie is made to fit them. Hers is like the only wardrobe that just looks like they took it off the rack of.
I think this is what
doesn't fit.
Women, how they wanted themselves to be fitted then. Because if I think of like my grandma,
I mean, yeah, the sleeve lengths are
probably
correct,
had a similar
but
white woman body.
Okay,
was like, yeah. No, don't bring it too close to my this.
Yeah.
No, don't do that to my that.
Yeah,
and I think
keep
it was
it a little
just like,
baggy and saggy.
Keep it baggy in the ways that don't make me look good was like what people were comfy with.
I hated that look.
Yeah,
probably the most out of all the things that she wore.
I just think it's so funny how conflicting it looks. So she has to wear military shit in every outfit, and in this one she's like, I'll bring in some pink
with like gathering and shearing at the neck and everything.
No.
Yeah, and it
looks
reminds
like her
me...
neck keeps going, but the color changes and it goes bad.
Like from the face to the neck.
Her neck is like 200 years old at the bottom, and the color
like
gets
wrinkly neck.
weird. Yeah,
no. That like color palette too, that olivey green and then the mulberry pink or whatever. I don't know if you remember, it was kind of like a trend that came back, like I feel like in the 70s and then back in like the mid or early 2000s when the 70s stuff was reviving again.
Okay,
I had like a printed, I can't remember if it was a piece of fabric or I saw a skirt in my mom's closet, but it was like that green and floral with the pink. Yeah. Anyway, exactly.
The way they would do it in patterns too. Like it's one thing to pair two different items together, but in
a pattern is bad.
Gross.
All bad. And that's exactly this vibe. It's like that drab 70s, sad, weird.
You know what else we should acknowledge? I bet she's one of the only women of her age in a feature film in that decade. Like that was not a common thing. I mean, occasionally for like a grandma character.
Yeah.
But even then, they're not a big part of the movie.
No, she's like a killer in this and stuff.
Quite substantial. I feel like most definitely if this wasn't written in the book, they would not have it in the film.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's a prominent thing in the book.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. And I think she's excellent in this character.
I do too.
Right?
I hate her.
I hate her. Yeah.
Which
want
is what
to
you
hate
want.
her.
Yeah. And later when she comes in the maid outfit, I'm like, oh, I hate her, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And the way he's holding her back with the chair, she's like
kicking her little feet. I know.
Kicking at you in the kitchen. One of my friends saw that part. He was like, how is this so hard for him to hold back an old lady when he beats all these other guys so quick?
Well,
and I was like, she's good.
Yeah, she's got some fierce.
She's like, look at her. She's good.
Yeah.
But that was a funny point, though.
Anything to finish the job, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that foot, the shoe knife thing.
The poison shoe knife?
Yeah. You know, I mean, you've seen Kingsman, right? They like
do they do
totally,
is there poison also?
I think so. They totally copied that, which I love. I love those little nods to Bond movies and the Kingsman.
I do
stuff.
too. I wish I knew that. I wish there was a way to be like, credit too.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Just because I would want to look up and be like, oh, is that where that's from? That's cool.
So that's where this is from. Wait, that was your number 3?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So my number 4 is Tatiana. Okay. Her name.
Okay, please.
We'll talk about her name.
I started bringing this up off recording. Yeah. We weren't recording. And we decided, no, wait till we're recording. Please, Alma.
Alana was like, okay, what is her name? They say it like 2 times.
Yeah, first of all, is this a sexist thing that they only said her name out loud like maybe 4 times throughout the film?
Yeah,
the female lead Russian hottie, and who's actually Italian, it turns out. And I was like, I had to IMDb to even see what the character's name was, and even then I was like, that's the wrong character until I saw her image with it. So tell me. So
her name is Tatiana Romanova, but she also goes by Tania.
What the fuck?
So you hear Tania and Tatiana like spoken.
Tanya. And I hear that too. And I'm like, did someone mix the 2 up? Did they just not care?
I don't know.
Is it just my brain doing tricks on me now?
Maybe. I don't know.
They're just like, she's here. They like aren't even calling her name at all. They're just doing T with a Y. If it's got a T and a Y. Tyler, she's here. Tyler from Russia. Taivana from Rushki.
Exactly.
Like, interchangeable.
So it is her outfit when they steal the machine, and she wears this for a decent the pink top and the brown skirt, and it's like a popped collar, and the construction of the top, it's the first time I'm noticing it, is a dolman sleeve, so it's the sleeve is connected to the front, the whole bodice.
That I feel like is a very 50s 60s
exactly
cut.
It's a very 50s 60s cut, and the way that the collar lays also, I feel like that kind of oversized and a little bit wingy is very 50s 60s classic. And the reason why, like, it's not anything I would wear with her outfits, but it reminds me so much of my mom. Like, I think my mom can you see it?
Was sipping a sip. Yes.
So I feel like my mom must have, like, this era has resonated with her so much, or like the old movies.
Best version of this era.
But that's the thing.
She's not reminiscent of this era, except in the literal details.
Yes. So like and when you look at Tatiana's whole wardrobe, she's like you said, the best versions of the best things of that era. The pencil skirt, in terms of, that fits her character. Like sure. I think it's like just the perfect tailoring. Really high quality materials, you can tell, and the cuts are very classic. And so it reminds me of my mom. And the pink top, I just more appreciated the construction. I liked the color, it looked great on her. And that's the reason why. I debated between that and another one, but maybe I might pick it, so we'll talk about it later. Yeah, okay. So tell me your number 4.
Well, I feel like about the cuts on women in this era is that they, like, first of all, they just like didn't want women to have shoulders or something. They were just like constantly like making it look like one rounded potato from your head to your boobs. Okay. Which I personally hate, especially because, at this time it was definitely, designs were targeted to your average white woman, and your average white woman has got much larger hips too, and it ends up looking full potato. And I feel like also at this era they tended to like a generally a little lower waist, which only works if you're like actually quite thin and your hip bones are part of the silhouette of you. If you're heavier, which most women are in the hips, white American women, let's just call it out, that type of lower waist makes you just look even bulkier and sure. And, like, the shape looks fine on her. I'm not opposing her, but just to speak a bit on that shape, I also have, like, clearly this reminds you of your mom, and your mom wears this stuff perfectly and beautifully, and it does not sound the way I'm speaking but it reminds me of my grandma, and also every white woman who I've seen in the Midwest, for example, when I was young, because they were still wearing 60s clothes back then. Let's just be straight up.
Yes.
And or 60s cuts at least. And it just looks like, oh, so that's not like, if there was going to be a generic cut that like clearly wouldn't fit everyone perfectly, but would be a good across the board. This one was like made by men who are not knowing anything about women is how it felt. I'm just like, this could not compliment a woman.
Valid opinions, totally valid.
Disagree.
I don't agree with you on the potato shoulder.
Shoulder?
The de-emphasis on the shoulders.
Yeah, okay.
But I think was I telling you off mic that they look like the McCall's patterns, or was that
I think
we
it
already
was
talked
on.
about that? Okay, yeah. I forget, but it's like what you distill the 60s to be, I feel like, is a lot of what she's wearing in like that vanilla, I don't know, just like very classic, like,
well, classic to you. Maybe that's to do with your mom's choices.
But classic doesn't necessarily always mean that it's like
to you
like,
personally. Yeah,
exactly. But I think it's of the time, and I think she looks great.
it's quite of the time. I do think that.
Yeah. Because the other,
I feel like the ideal woman body that is being designed for in this era is like an hourglass with larger boobs. It's basically ideal woman's body at the time was like an hourglass shape, but bigger on the boobs, like bigger on top though.
Totally.
But otherwise like proportionally hourglass, right? Very thin waist line. And I think your average woman does not look anything like that. And in fact is quite the opposite, like does not have as much of an hourglass and does have heavier on the bottom. And I just think the types of cuts and designs that came out of this era plug in great if you want to use like a model with big old tits. And that's fantastic. But don't actually fit your typical female, at least American female body, especially not now when our average weight is higher.
Oh yeah, sure.
And for that reason, I get annoyed by them more than anything else.
For
but
sure.
they do look good on her. And you're right, they are classics in this. And I don't think throw out the baby with the bathwater. I think when we see these types of designs now, just we have altered them for modern. Like we have lifted the waist a little if it's someone with a more lifted waist or someone with a more rounded body or whatever, so that it can be more complementary to them. And we've added more emphasis on the shoulder rather than diminishment of the shoulder, so that, because I think the concern was like, ooh, we love big breasted women, so they're so top heavy, let's lower down the shoulder so they look less masculine and more feminine without the shoulder. But like that's not the average body shape, so it only works on those model ladies who you're designing that for. And then the like, even like how the nightgown she has it's like empire waist, thin amount of material on the top trying to emphasize boobs. Like imagine that on that cut of that dress on someone with big hips and small boobs. It just looks very potato-y, and that's your average. Even just a slight shift of that is more your average body. So like these things look great on her, fantastic. I'm not taking down on her, but I get annoyed by the classic cuts of the time because I think they influenced so much afterward, and they were so clearly not made to like make women feel and look their best average woman. For
sure. And there was less variety like back then.
I have so much fighting spirit about this. You're like, we heard you, got it. And I'm like, listen, it wasn't nice.
No, that's a good point though, because there was less variety in like what kind of shapes of clothes that was being made. A lot more people wore the same types of things. Like there was less self-expression.
Most people at this time, I think, were still wearing what their parents made them because they couldn't afford to buy from the stores. That was my mom. She'll talk to me about like what clothes she wore. She'd be like, my mom would try to buy me used underwear. Oof, this is what my mom says, and I'm like, I love you, mother, for not doing that to me. Thank you so much. But like, you know, she certainly wasn't getting, they were middle income, but she wasn't getting like she got like a new shirt at the start of school, like the same type of thing. And if there's anything else on top of that she wanted, it was like, well, if you're nice to mom, she'll sew it for you.
Wow.
And then it would be custom sewn, but like, you know, off those same patterns, like what you're saying, she wasn't like an expert sewer taking in her daughter's measurements and spending all night making it Cinderella.
Yeah, it's the diamonds are forever bunchy panties
exactly.
kind of situation.
It's the diaper panties.
Well, respect to your mama.
Oh, respect my grandma for making that work.
Yeah, too. Also. Okay, what's your number 4 outfit?
Ooh. I'm sorry I went on such a tangent about that. I hope somebody got some insight or felt the love that is coming from. It's coming from love for the humans and wanting to cater to us. Anyways, number 4. Number 4 is her. Oh, I wrote it wrong, but I know what I'm referencing. Number 4 is for me is her brown. She's wearing the blue turtleneck with like a brown skirt, and she's wearing the brown coat thing with the fur on top.
That was my other choice.
That's what I was hoping when you were like, I had another choice. I was like, I think we're gonna cover it.
I love the coat. I love the coat.
I love the coat's everything.
The coat is everything.
If the rest was cut modern, I love the whole thing.
Because that's the thing.
The thing.
I mean, same with the pink outfit, right? But like, that type of turtleneck where it's like slightly thicker and like it's wide, it's tall. It's an old style, and again, reminds me of my mother.
Oh, your mom rocks a turtleneck. We've talked about this before.
Yes, we have talked about my mother's turtlenecks, but this is also why I don't like that one.
Because of Hawaii, we're like, oh, a turtleneck.
Yeah, like
it stands out.
I didn't like that turtleneck, but that more the wide collar I liked on the pink shirt style.
Yes. But that's a similar collar on the brown coat as well. No, I mean not collar, but like width.
Yeah,
yes.
Sure. And yeah, I love. I mean, this whole train sequence when they get to the train car and she has a whole wardrobe.
Fantasy.
Yes.
Love.
Those moments I love. And I love any, like, when you see clothing, how clothing travels, right? So he pulls it out of like.
I love when he pulls out the like bad guys stuff and you can see the bad guys like underwear. Like, oh, it's not even folded that nicely.
It tells you a lot about a person, how they travel, you know? Yeah. Or like versus Grace Kelly in Rear Window, where she like pulls out a full on ball gown out of like a tiny suitcase. Oh, that kind of shit I
relatable.
Love. And so in this movie you get a nice moment of that, and it's in a train, how romantic. And then she looks like perfectly spick and span in her gorgeous coat with the fur collar.
If that skirt, it's like a khaki-ish camel-y,
like
knee-length skirt, which I think she wears like 4 times in the movie. Yeah, that type of skirt. I think she wears more than 4 times, but that
like every
literally
time.
The khaki-ish color version, she wears quite a few times also. That skirt, if that was tailored in a modern way, like a little more pencil skirty, a little
with like
snugger,
a slit up to your
maybe
panty.
A slit, maybe not up to your panty. Like what was like that 90s one we talked about?
Yeah, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never Dies. Yeah, maybe not all the way up to the panty. Although, hey, I love fashion, so I might be down. But just generally more snug, more like tailored, whatever, some amount of slit so that it's movable. Yep. I would be so down, especially, if the turtleneck was tucked in / cropped.
Yes. Oh, that would be a whole different outfit. That'd be so cute. Yeah.
But this is the 63 version of that.
Exactly. Good choice. I like that. So my last outfit is one we just kind of briefly talked about.
I knew it. I was like, shut your mouth about it because it's coming up.
Yeah. It's Tania. Of course, it's Tania's blue nightgown with the pleated baby it's the baby doll style nightgown with the pleated cups, and her hair's up with the ribbon in it.
Dude, that nightgown saved the day, because when he first pulls out the nightgown stuff, I'm like, nightgown,
the one with the lace and stuff,
it's
right?
Like,
I know. Yeah,
it's every Goodwill.
Exactly.
Too many grandmothers, and like very covered up, and like even at the time was this sexy, because it just looks like a kind of sheer sack. But then when she took it off and had that underneath, I was like, saved.
Oh, that's a different one, I think. I think there's 2 different outfits. Yeah.
Well, either way, this one's incredible and takes the cake.
It's the same.
I mean, the coat thing is definitely its own thing.
The coat is its separate
it's like,
piece.
Is the under the same or not the same?
I don't know. But
it could be also a mystery that we've been talking a lot about, of there being different like promo pics versus whatever. Like it could just be that they used a different garment for him to hold up than they had her wear, because it was like the promo version or something.
Yeah, good call. So this outfit is one of my favorite like nightgown lingerie outfits in all of the Bond franchise. And because it's just beautiful color, she looks like Cinderella or something. Like
it is gorgeous. Her hair is so cute.
And it looks expensive. Like the pleating detail is and then
I
on the
loved her
cups.
hair throughout the movie.
Me too. Her hair is on
It's
point.
such a popular length
cute.
right now, to be able to see how they styled it in 1950s. I was like, love.
No, I love, and she looks really cute with her hair up too. But I mean, the whole time I was like, look how her hair bounces when she's just like walking and stuff. I love that.
I was like, take note, because my hair's always too short to do a full ponytail, and hers too in this. And I'm like, oh, that's how she made it stay cute.
Yeah. But like all this detail under the bust too, like it's subtle little details, but it makes it look expensive and nice.
I completely agree. I think this nightgown is gorgeous on her, and one of the better nightgowns in Bond as well. Everything I said earlier, when this being catered to her, I think it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's not the way I said earlier. But I do have thoughts.
Tell me.
So this is another one of those outfits there are a lot of promo pictures in, or some promo pictures in.
Yeah,
I don't know.
there are.
And I feel like in the promo pictures, they have it clipped at her waist, which is great and totally, to me, completely changes the look of the dress.
Yeah, because before it was like
it's
a baby doll.
Very baby doll, very Empire waist looking in the movie. Even though you don't get a full view, like a full length view of it, you still get enough view of the bottom to get its snugness in the waist.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just feel like I love the way it is in promo pics. I would like that to be the way it is.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
But I don't love as much the baby dollageness or, I don't know. But I'm okay with it. I just am like, y'all keep giving us these great promo pics, and it's like, give them to us actually.
Yeah, no, totally.
Not to mention that one promo pic where her waist looks snatched. It's because they got the shadow of his arm going across her waist, and it makes it look extra.
The one that has the thigh highs sticking out, right? Yeah.
Which it looks gorgeous, but like that's not actually.
Yeah.
It's
a shadow.
And the waist is so bunched around there. I'm like, they definitely just clipped it, right? Like they just pulled up a bunch of it behind her. She wouldn't even be holding it with that one arm, both arms.
Yeah, she's just holding it behind her.
She's just like, let me hold the dress right here, clumped, and there's like a slit in it in a different image, and I'm like,
the slit.
Is that real of the dress? I could be. We don't see the bottom, but
I love the slit. Yeah, I love the slit too. I'm like,
if that's legit, I like it more. But I agree. She looks so cute. I'm so glad you picked that. I was hoping you would.
Oh, then what's yours? Last one.
Not that one. Wait, I want to talk more about this one.
Okay.
I also love what she wore earlier. First of all, I don't know if you can see this on a normal, not 4K HDR of this movie, but when she crosses the curtain, the first time he meets her, she's in thigh highs, nude.
Yeah.
And the neck.
The choker.
Yeah. That's it. Like, you can see her boobs.
I know.
What?
Yes, I know. Like,
also makes me wonder, like, was that in her contract? Because this is something they would probably try to sneak and be like, we're just going to shoot it nude, but it'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. Because they had less say back then. They're less, like, I don't know. Like, they... I think also, a lot of the times the Bond ladies are like, you know, their first
it's such a
big
privilege
movies.
to be in Bond.
Yeah, and it's like their first time.
I mean, it's classic film industry.
Yeah,
it's not just Bond.
Yeah,
but I love that in that she's wearing the thigh highs and the neck, and apparently naked. Otherwise, I think that is so great. I love that they have the necktie, and I love that he brings it back when he's like talking to her about a different outfit, and he puts that in her mouth. Like, I think that's actually an appropriate flirt between two people who are together.
Yes. There's moments I think they're so cute together. A lot of it in the train before he thinks that she's, you know, whatever, before they get into their shit.
Yeah.
Like that whole interaction showing her the outfits, and then she grabs it in her teeth and she's smiling and giggling. I think
also
it's
she's
cute.
So smiley and giggly in that scene, in those scenes. It just makes you feel them differently.
Yeah.
But I wonder about that because it seems like a huge shift in personality for her. Like, what?
Yeah.
And we're not even talking about the sexist shit where she's like, I'm pretending to fall in love with you for my job. I can't live without you. I'm so in love with you.
Make love to me every day and night. All, you know, yeah.
I was so annoyed when she was saying about the like, have sex with me, but will you have sex with me?
Yeah.
I was so annoyed about that until I remembered that she is an agent trying to get him to fall in love. And I thought, I want to make a movie where a girl plays into the two-dimensional version of what a man would want, and he's so stupid that he falls for it to make him, like, quote-unquote fall in love with her to, like, get her gain, whatever that is. I want to put that in a movie where, like, she does it on purpose. So she literally would do something like, but don't you want to have sex with me? Like, in a way that I think most normal men would be like, okay, but I can see through this.
Yeah.
But I want the male protagonist to not see through it. To be that stupid. And he's got to be a spy, but he's that stupid.
But can I just say, though, James Bond in this movie, always like one step behind, like
real stupid.
Yeah. So like he is kind of that, like, you know how Kerim Bey says, like, you know, you're being fooled or whatever, and he's like, well, it's okay, I just want the Lecter machine anyway. And And he's like, you're not thinking with your head. Like he's he's telling him all these things. He's like, but whatever, it's okay. Just going with
You're
the
not
flow.
thinking your head. You're thinking with your penis, like I usually do. Look at my sons. They're all right here in a row. All 600 of them. Carrying out all my deeds.
And then like how the Red Grant characters, like after him and always one step ahead.
And he's like, well, actually, then he's like, Blofeld?
Yeah. Like a Spectre and all that stuff. And then, so he kind of is that dumb guy in this movie.
Well, I want to make a movie from the POV of the girl doing that. And I don't have her suddenly fall head over heels for him in the third act. My God.
I know.
That annoys me to no end.
Yeah.
But I literally, like we've talked about in other movies, I just have to like separate the third act from the first two when it comes to his relationship with the lead woman.
Yeah. But as a premise of a movie, I do think it's cool. It's like send in this female agent to
I love that.
Yeah,
I do
and
love
all that
that
stuff. I think it's all the spy shit.
I don't know that I loved this movie as much as other ones though. I felt like it was harder to follow and a lot more of the details were less visually shown to us and more spoken, which I just consider not as good of filmmaking in my opinion. Go ahead and fight me. The guy I was watching it with again kept saying like he was like, oh, I love this movie, and he was like, I think this is one of the more loved Bond movies also.
It
like
is,
I think that's the consensus. He's like, I think it's one of Elma's favorites too, and I was like, well, I'll find out.
Yep.
But I was surprised. I'm like, this of all the Bond movies I've seen, I really don't. This is not up there. I don't think I really like it at all. I mean, I don't. It was worth watching once and maybe watch it again. I do think her character is not only beautiful but interesting in the first half, and I love number 3. Kind of besides that, I'm like,
Okay, so let me tell you where I'm coming from. So this was one of the first movies, the Bond movies that I saw. It was like in the box set that I would watch all the time. So I don't remember
Baby Elu.
a time not having seen this movie. Yeah. Right? Like I don't remember the first time I saw it. It was just always there. And for me, it was for a while. I mean, it still kind of teeters in my top 5. It was my favorite James Bond movie.
I think she's one of the most beautiful Bond girls, period. And I think if I was a child, that would... I'm not saying this is what happened with you, but personally, I was really attracted to things that I was really attracted to. If there was not sexually, oh my God, so many asterisks. But like, if there's something I was like, that's very aspirational for me, I could watch that 1% of the thing and watch the whole movie a million times.
Okay. Yeah.
So in that way, I relate. I get what you're saying. The parts of it you like become so much bigger and more important.
Yeah, exactly. There is that. But it's not, the Bond girl actually
isn't what it was for you.
No, not at all.
What was it for you?
I don't know, but like I liked like his,
was
like
it the gray suits?
You know what? I think it was, no, I was gonna say it's not the gray suits, but his like briefcase gadgets and like all that shit, like the little powder that sticks on the inside magnetically, and like you have to turn the latches to open it correctly, like the hidden coins, all of that shit was like cool gadgets. Like,
dude, Harriet the Spy was my Bible for a while.
Like,
so
as a kid, that kind of simplicity and like gadgets that you can understand was appealing. I like the train sequence. Yeah, like actually this train fight I think is one of the best.
Quite good.
Yeah.
Well, like maybe quite good.
I think for the time, it was probably amazing, like very impactful to see. And even watching it even now, after watching the same train fight sequence in Spy Who Loved Me, which is so meh with Jaws. Yeah. This is the one that they're trying to like model it after, this is the one that they're. Yeah. Anyway, so I liked that. I think the story of the spies trying to want like the two sides kind of having their own shit going on, and the double cross and stuff like that I'm into. And Rosa Klebb as a character, I think she was just so comical as a kid. You're probably just like, oh, you're so creepy and funny. I'm
like that ugly pink outfit. Spoiler is not my kill, even though it's disgusting.
Yeah, right.
I just think it's great.
I
love that. I hate
exactly
it.
Same thinking. Yeah. So yeah, it's still one of my favorites, but I will say this time watching it was a little tougher.
Because when you're a kid, you're not thinking about the sexism so much. You don't know about the relationship. Because in this movie, it's really the sexism comes into the relationship part about her wanting to have sex with him all the time. And when you're a kid, you're not registering that because you're not thinking about sex. You don't even get it. Yeah. So it would be very different to watch as an adult. Yeah. As like a full adult. Well, what was the difference in in your rewatch?
I think it's just because it's been one that I've seen so much.
Yeah.
Like, I'm noticing as I'm rewatching these movies with you, like ones that I was less keen on, like Dr. No, for example, I'm like, oh, way more interesting now.
This is how I felt about Spice World. Remember, we watched it and I was like, I have different favorite Spice Girls now. And it's shocking.
Yeah.
Because I similarly was very obsessed with
And then From Russia was always one of my favorites. The one I would say is like my favorite. I still love the music. Like it really gets you into the movie, like how it starts and everything. But I watched this in like 2 sittings and it was a little bit like, okay, yeah, I know the movie. Like, okay, I know what happens. Like, you know, so looking for new things was harder.
Interesting.
But, you know, this was the first time I really looked at the clothes and was like, damn, it does remind me of my mom. Like, I think she's modeling herself after like this era person.
There are definitely like the clothes as a whole look good in this.
Yeah.
I just needed to point out
wait, did you say your last outfit?
No, I have my last outfit.
Okay,
Should I say
because
it?
there's more stuff that I want to say about later. Yeah, tell me your last.
My very last, Numa 5, is her green and yellow outfit at the end.
I'm happy we get to talk about this.
Me too. The cut I think is like fine, whatever, goes with the rest of the stuff, is very of the era and all this. But the fact that they brought in those colors, I'm so grateful. I feel like there's some character points there because they have her in more like, there's a bit of like a mustardy yellow, but more neutrally colors earlier,
more like office-y, more professional. Yeah,
exactly. Even the pink isn't like a too bright of a pink.
Yeah, it's like salmon-y.
Yeah, and then in this, they like once she's like free and hanging out with him, whatever, off duty, so to speak. Not even so to speak, literally off duty. They have her in these like bright, fun colors, and I'm like, well, that's cool.
Cute, yeah.
Even though I'm like, how did her character change so much from being this like spy person to like bubbly, playful, fun?
I think she looks fantastic in that scene.
I agree.
I love the setting that she's in with the colors that they chose.
Every outfit in that, I'm like, every picture in this scene, every image is gorgeous.
Yeah. And so what I was thinking that this reminded me of is, so I'm so happy you brought this up here, because what I wanted to say was her whole wardrobe in this movie feels very Edith Head to me, like 1950s, 60s Edith Head. And the funny thing is the green suit, I was like, oh, it's like Tippi Hedren and the Birds. That movie came out same year. I just looked up. She wears a green suit. It's a slightly different shade of green, but it was like, oh, you've never seen it? Well, the green suit is the iconic green suit I'm sure you've seen the image, right?
Yes.
So this is what it kind of reminded me of, that in those like classic, it really feels a little bit older. Like this is 1963, which is still early 60s, but it does feel like it's from like 5 years prior.
It does a little older, right?
Yeah. And I don't know if that's because it's like Russia, Istanbul, like I don't know if there's slightly different trends happening there, but or they just consciously didn't put any trends into it, to keep it classic. But once, in that final scene, I was like, oh yeah, this feels very Edith Head. And I like it. I mean, Edith Head is one of my favorite costume designers. So if you see anything that's like similar, I'm like, cool.
Yes. Yeah. I also love her. I'm surprised to hear you point out this is very Edith Head. Now I feel like I want to look collectively at more of Edith Head stuff. I feel like I've looked more at the detail, but I want to see them as a big picture maybe. Like, ooh, how do I feel about that?
I have a book. I'll show you.
Oh, okay. When I wrote down this as my favorite, I wrote plus his, because I really liked what he wore too, texture-wise.
Yeah.
His shirt
was
is
nice.
silk, right? Or some kind of silk. In my 4K whatever, it really looked silk, or like a majority percent silk. His white button down.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I like that. And his suit, even though it's pinstriped, kind of widely pinstriped, which I don't, at my current point in life, don't love.
Oh, I like it.
But like the texture of the suit was such a nice
woolly,
I don't know, wool kind of texture, and it just felt so extra rich, and especially next to that silkiness of the shirt was like, oh my god,
yes,
these textures are blowing my mind. And I was like, damn, if I was gonna pick a suit, I don't even like pinstripe suits, but if I was gonna pick a suit of his from this movie, it'd be this one.
Cute.
And I love it,
because I did like it. I like that one a lot.
Dude, we should do that. We should pick suits from each movie.
Okay.
have a favorite suit along with our keep kills, because like
happy to, because a lot of it is about suits.
Yeah, especially in the Bond movies.
Okay, should we do keep and kills or honorable mentions?
Whichever you want to do first.
Okay, well, I have a couple honorable mentions then.
Okay.
Sylvia Trench in the very beginning. She's the girl that they're kissing together on the boat.
The bikini
girl.
Got it.
Her bikini. Honorable mention just because it's so unique. Whatever the thing on her, the little loopies on the cups and stuff. Like it's strange. Like it's
ugly.
It's not something I would wear.
63.
But exactly, it was very unique.
I think it's ugly. I'm not to say that it's point blank ugly.
I think she looks cute though. I think she looks adorable. Cute, yeah. But yeah, the bathing suit itself, no thanks. But very cool, unique details.
This is where I started getting annoyed by the sexism in the movie, is his interaction with her. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to like much of this, huh? Like, she's not even a reoccurring character in this, and I'm not into the way they're talking. She's
not, but she is one of the only recurring Bond
girl
characters.
Yeah, you told me this in a different movie, right?
Yeah, because she's from Dr. No.
Yeah.
She's the first girl that he meets. First girl? Well, she's the
I like
first
how they tried
interest.
to tie movie 1 and 2 together like that. That's cool.
Just a little bit. I
like the feeling that whoever he has most recently conquered, woman-wise, he's still with for a minute. Like, I like that he's in the hotel at the end, still with Tatiana. Oh my God, her name. Still throwing me off. Miss Romanova. I like that he's still with her. So like, it seems like the relationship at least lasts a week or two and not like, I'm just sleeping with you and bye-bye.
Yeah, exactly. I also thought Moneypenny looked great in this.
Me too.
Right?
I also said young Moneypenny. She looks so young and like cute.
She's super cute.
But then she's rubbing her face against his, and I was like, no. I wrote young and cute, but rubbing?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was still cute. It's like that 1960s style, like weird things that people would do on, I don't know.
It's that
like
1960s style weird things.
Yeah, that they do for the camera,
Sure.
I don't know. I feel like
I've
seen it before.
Yeah, I do think it exists then, yeah.
Rosa Klebb's iconic glasses, I think we need to
like,
shout out. Those like super thick.
What do they call them? Coke can glasses?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because a Coke bottle, the bottom.
Oh, yes.
Coke bottle glasses.
Gotcha.
Is that what they're called?
I guess so. Love that.
Bottle glass. I'm sorry.
Bottle bottom.
I can't remember the phrase.
Something.
I love that we find out what James Bond eats for breakfast.
Oh,
I wrote it down. You want to know?
There is a thing that he eats for breakfast. I mean, from the books. What is he in this?
Well, in this movie,
tell me.
He asks for green figs.
Okay, not
shocker.
What he eats
yogurt and coffee very black.
Okay, coffee very black. Yeah, but I think he usually has like 2 eggs and then something like very basic.
Oh.
But that is a talked about thing. What does James Bond have for breakfast?
Yeah.
And,
well, I thought that was interesting.
Oh, maybe it was in this book. Gosh, you guys, I think, realize I have not read all of the books. Tell me, what does James Bond eat for breakfast in the book?
Just kidding.
Yeah.
That's literally laughable. But I wonder if maybe the green figs and yogurt comes from
green
Istanbul.
Eggs and ham. Oh, yes.
Or green eggs and ham. It's either Dr. Seuss or Istanbul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Istanbul or Seuss. It's good. That's a really hard. We got to run that on our stories.
Yeah. Okay, that's it for my honorable mentions. You got any?
Mostly just story stuff.
Yeah, let's get into.
Keep and kill. So let's just do those.
Okay, my keep obvious one is the blue nightie with the choker.
Cute.
And
Cute.
Totally wearable.
My keep, I couldn't decide, but I think what I ended up going with was the fighting gypsy outfit.
Okay.
Because I love a crop top. I love the idea of like a full skirt like that with a real high slit. I'm like, I haven't seen a skirt that's like so full, like bunchy full at the knee recently that has a high slit. I'm like, that's interesting. And I think it has 2.
Yeah, probably.
She just ties it up real quick, so hard to tell.
And I thought,
that's
right.
interesting. But my close second was I was going to do the white sailor jacket with the black on black outfit.
Cute. Okay, cute.
Couldn't quite decide. But
like
whatever,
that too.
That.
My you know what? I lied. My kill.
You lied.
Yeah, is
You didn't tell us your kill yet.
yeah, I know, but I said earlier about
you did pick
number
it.
3.
You picked the pink,
the
with
pink and green suit.
Yep.
Yeah, I was because I remember I was like, this is so hard to find one to kill. But then I did have that conversation with myself. I'm like, well, it fits the character. We hate her. It's fine.
Yeah,
But I ended up picking it anyway.
that's totally fair. And things were pretty like just above center in this movie, outfit wise. So I feel like it was hard to find something that you really wanted to kill or like really whatever.
Yeah.
My kill was she wears a striped skirt suit. It's like a skirt and a striped top. And from afar, it just looked like blue. And I was like, okay, cute, blue kind of looking shape. Yeah. And then you see the close-ups and it's like it's the same kind of stripes that came back in the early 2000s in a way that I hated. And I was like, yeah, I'm killing it.
Okay. Oh, yes. I see it. The one in the mosque. Okay.
Yes, in the mosque.
The shirt dress and the belt and the pumps. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just was like, eh.
Yeah, basic.
Oh, maybe it's a shirt dress. I thought it was a top and bottom, but it's hard to tell either way. They barely show
it could be a top and bottom.
Either way.
Cut
it.
Sure. I wish you could see her with the gloves on. Do you?
No, that would probably make it
way
much
cuter.
Yeah. Another Ani mensch would be the trench coat she wears with the blue scarfy. It's a different shape of trench. And this is one of those 50s, 60s cuts that I actually think is cool and works. Probably because it's a coat. So like it not being fitted appropriately looks okay. Like it just looks like a design choice rather than
I can see that. Like
rather than the way
coat.
it makes a body look.
I don't like it though.
I don't love it, but I think it's interesting, and I love that it's not
different.
like every freaking trench coat.
Yeah.
That it has its own look, and obviously with the headscarf, without the headscarf, it probably looks not
20% cuter.
at all. 20%, maybe like 60% uglier is what I was thinking, but. That's just personal. I like that the pockets fold over. That's like a cute detail.
Okay.
Anyway,
cool.
That was an Ani mensch for me.
The last honorable mensch I liked was what Bond was wearing with Sylvia Trench in the little canoe. He had a gingham shirt on and the little short swim shorts. I thought it was cute.
He's got a style. You know, he wears that same stuff.
Yeah, like in Thunderball. But the buttons on this I thought was interesting because they look like it looks like he's wearing a pajama shirt because there's pockets low on it, and then there's like these big shiny buttons or something. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. Like it either looks like
I think those are pockets.
Casual jacket. Oh yeah, it's definitely a pocket.
Casual jacket.
Which is weird because he's wearing it as a shirt.
A casual jacket.
Because it's cut like a jacket.
Yeah.
But pajama
Shirts were
is
hard
the next.
To come by back then, Elu.
But it's also very pajama-like, so
yeah.
I don't know. But then would he be wearing pajamas outside? I don't know.
It's also weird because what is in these stills that I think you probably didn't see in the movie? There's some clothing over the car seat. Are those pants then? I would have thought that was a jacket.
Yeah, maybe. Gosh.
Maybe gosh. Anyway, cute, cool.
Let's talk the rest of the feels.
Okay, some story points I wanted to bring up. Very small one. There was a close-up of rats when they're in the sewer aqueducts looking area under the building. There's a close-up of all these rats on the oar that they're paddling with, and I was like, oh well, for sure rats are going to come back around. No, they just kept doing these weird close-ups of rats. It's like, this is weird. So that was strange in the filmmaking choices, and I just felt like, why is this rat city going on? Okay.
Just to let you know, there's rats.
Just to let you know.
It's creepy down here. But it's very Indiana Jones. Jones, I feel like, pulled some.
Sure,
I mean, whatever.
But
Rats in a sewer is a common thing, maybe.
There were to be an Indiana Jones pull, maybe. But
yeah,
sure.
I hear that.
I also feel like I want to know if I'm wrong about this. It seemed to me that all the accents in this movie were just insane and largely inaccurate, and just what is that a fake Frenchy Russian Italian accent?
So a lot of it's voiceover, and
my god, yeah,
oh my god, yeah,
very funny.
I think I mean, the main Bond women a lot of the times were casted purely for the looks, and then they couldn't either speak the language or just sounded awful to the director's ears or whatever.
Damn, wild.
So they would just get voiceovered by like one lady. Was it Nikki Vandersil?
That's what I feel like about the we think is maybe German guy. Is I'm like, is that his
he
voice?
Also must have been like one of the main voiceover guys.
No, I was thinking it didn't look like the voice was coming out of his mouth, but maybe it was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think maybe it was. Actually, yeah, I wonder. I feel like because there's two accents that he does, right? Like there's one when he's like pretending to be Nash, which is like, old boy, that stuff. Yeah. And then, which I feel like is guaranteed.
Boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, is voiceovered. And then after that, once he's like, realize he's like Spectre guy and
Does the voice change?
I thought so.
I thought it was the same.
I thought he does like a regular, like his whatever accent. Anyway,
well,
I don't know. It's something that.
Listen, neither of us are perfect at memory.
Yeah.
Well, the accents I thought were insane.
Yeah.
And I felt like the way that they're insane really shaped the way people perceive accents from these cultures. Like some of them I was like, oh, I've definitely heard that type of way of using a Z and an S sound as an imitation of French in cartoons and stuff in a way that's completely inaccurate. Yeah. Like it is not how you'd have a French accent, for example, or like this is not how you'd have these parts of are not how you'd have a Russian accent. But I've seen this in so many cartoons and stuff that like clearly came up. Like I feel like the Russian accents weren't. None of them. None of it. Yeah. And I felt like they partly created this in the same way there was a previous Bond movie that had, gosh, I think it was a Hispanic accent of some sort. And the guy's name was Juan or so. It was like, no, like Sanchez. Like all their names were like classic, like animated. And the accents were like animated, inaccurate. And I felt like this in the same way was like animated, inaccurate in a way that affected culture to such a degree that literally animated things that came after this that had accents seemed to use these accents that they're using in the movies. Yeah. And it was just like meta on what these accents not being like the sound of the actuals. Yeah. I can't even get a proper sentence out.
It fucked us up, clearly.
Yeah. It fucked with culture. Like there's a lot of power in your hands when you are something as big as like a Bond movie. So this is the reason why representation and things matter. Like it literally affected culture for like what if these animated things were in the 80s, 90s when I was alive, decades.
Yeah, totally.
Interestingly, I also felt like when she's in the car passed out in the backseat of the car and it's all flowers. At first I was like, well, that's fortunate, flowers. And then I was like, oh my God, this is so midsummer.
Oh, yeah.
Midsummer. Cool, Midsommar, however you pronounce that one. But speaking of that, she's drugged, and one, he just lets her get drugged, which is like,
I know.
Maybe there's nothing he could have done. Okay, regardless, whatever. She gets drugged.
I mean, but they were like enemies at that point, him and the girl, like, because he thinks she had something to do with killing Kerim Bey. Because he just died earlier, so and that's why she's sulking the whole time. Yeah, because I was watching, how like she goes to the dinner car first with Red Grant, and she's just sulking the whole time, and then she's just like moody, and it's because she's like feeling like, okay, well, he thinks that I betrayed him and all these things, blah blah blah.
Right, that's a good point.
So he lets that happen.
Okay, so he lets her get drugged, but when he takes her to leave with him. And he just keeps saying like, wake up or I'll leave without you. Yeah. She's drugged. It doesn't work that way.
I know. You have to pick her up.
Wake up or I'll leave without you. Like,
I know.
She can't.
I thought that too.
First of all, which is like, okay. And then he kept doing it in the car too. He's like, wake up or I'll leave without you. And she's like,
it's like, you saw her get drugged. She's asleep.
What do you expect to have in here? But I also wondered, so he's like, sleep it off in the back of this flower car, chill, which first of all, the friend I was watching it with pointed out, he's like, how cold is it back there? I was like, yeah, actually, she's an ice cube now. She just dies in the back because she's too cold and passed out. But she comes to from that and they continue on their day. And she's just like not fazed by having been drugged. She's never like, what happened to me? How come we're on a completely different location all of a sudden? Not on a train. I don't have any of my luggage. Yeah. What is happening to any degree? She's just like, oh, no. Happens every Friday. We're chill. Got it. Usual. It's the usual.
Yeah. No.
I'm like, okay.
Just could have used one interaction where it cleared that up.
Something.
Yeah. Totally.
I also loved the moment I questioned the moment. I loved if it was safe. The moment where they're on boats and he lights that fire, and so the water is on fire in a lot of areas because of the fuel tanks and being on the boat. Yeah. And these like stuntmen who are on the other boats are like diving off, like getting caught on fire, diving off into the water, but the water is on fire. I know. And I kept thinking, oh, it's a depth of field thing they're playing with, like they're jumping into the area of water behind the fire, whatever. But there are quite a few moments where I was like, I don't know if that's true.
Dude, I was watching that too. Okay, I didn't notice like the jumping directly into fire, but I'm like, it was Wild West. These people could just film. Like there were no safety laws. Fire. Yeah.
Or multiple someone's caught fire.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that looked dangerous for sure.
Wild. But I loved that scene anyway, regardless. And it looked cool.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and he looked cute with the little... He took
the hat.
I
thought about doing that outfit just because he looked so cute.
Yeah,
although I don't know what the weird vest thing she put on. Like
I know
the concept
the sweater
looked
vest.
Cool, but like
no.
Well, this vest was just on the boat, so you put it on.
Yeah,
I
don't know.
It's weird.
It was weird. I don't like that either.
I feel like the idea was we'll give her a way to change outfits so she looks more different and interesting. But like no.
Her boating vest.
I have one more question.
Yes.
They continually throughout this movie allude to Bond having gone to Tokyo for something with
right?
M or something. I'm like, what's Tokyo?
Yeah, I don't know because maybe there's some mentions of it in the books. You guys tell me, but I don't know what he's referencing. But I loved that. And
I'm like, if you guys also don't know, the makers of the movie, set something up. Like, I want to know.
So he does go to Tokyo, but that's 3-4 years later.
It's later in his lifespan also.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's questionable, right? Like when do these things happen in his lifespan? Who knows? But You Only Live Twice is the one that's filmed in Japan. That comes out.
I just want there to give
later.
us a short film where he's in Tokyo in 1962. And we'll find out what happened there. I know it's going to be a lot of like prostitute-y stuff.
Yeah.
That's clearly what they're moving to. But some interesting story on top of it, please.
Yes, I'm in. I'm down.
So in. Give us some of that. That's so very cool.
Cool. Anything else?
Well, I hate that she falls in love with him at the end. You know that. The only other thing is, I just love that in fight scenes in this era, rather than like punching people, it seems like we continuously see this like judo chop.
I know.
Yeah. And I love it.
It was very effective.
Apparently this was the best way to defeat enemies.
Yeah.
But I just love that constantly there's like someone turns around, judo chop. I know. I've got your gun and I'll judo chop you with it. Yeah. Like
I love it too.
There's so many opportunities for a punch and everyone's like, nah, that hurts my knuckles. Let me judo chop.
Yeah, and the side of your hand is more solid than
Sorry, is this more powerful than a punch? I don't understand. You're like fighting to the death with judo, with weird occasional judo chops. In that scene, this is on the train. They do a lot of those judo chop fights. I just love those freaking judo chop fights. Can't get over it. But there's one scene, you're right, that was a better fight scene than the last one we saw. But he kicks, you see the frame is like he's up against like one wall of the cart he's in, and it's where the seat is. So he's like kind of sitting in there, and he kicks with his leg, and the kick reaches the man. It cuts to a guy on the other side of the room, and it pushes him into the room that our girl is passed out in. So it like pushes him through one train car room into the next. Yeah. But his foot is still there with him. So like it's literally like he's like Elastigirl, like not possible. And that little moment of cut is funny. So funny. I need to see it again. I wanted to rewind it like 10 times. I was like, look at his legs. It's so funny to me.
I need to watch that part again.
It's great.
That is great.
Those are all my notes. I mean, it's very sexist. I don't like how that shit goes on in the end. But that's, besides that, a lot of enjoyable fun times as well. Not my favorite of the Bond movies.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
But, you know, cool, interesting, pretty stuff.
Yeah.
Love the belly dancer. Very good.
Yes. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
The belly dancer is good. Yeah. There were a lot of belly dancers during this era.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
Culturally, like what was going on.
I feel like you could get away with a girl wearing less clothes and moving sexually if she was like ethnic. And so they were like, belly dancing, come on over.
Yeah. Could have been.
Come to our white man's party. at the office.
Literally how it happened.
This is just my guess. So like if I'm totally off, I'm sorry to offend. Hopefully I have not offended and I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Overall, I still really love this movie.
Yeah.
You know, it's still,
there are great moments for sure.
Mm-hmm. And just because it's kind of so many other parodies and things have stemmed from it. I mean, like a lot of these Bond movies, but like the Rosa Klebb character in Austin Powers and stuff, and like
so good.
It's all collectively, all of that stuff was so fun, like watching growing up. So I still love it.
I mean, things like the suitcase that you liked just make this incredible. I also loved that suitcase. It's funny because when they first introduce it, Bond says something to the extent of, what if I don't meet her expectations? I think that's actually a word for word quote. He's talking about, obviously, our Russian girl. What if I don't meet her expectations? And then the immediate answer to that is, here's this suitcase with which you can kill people 17 ways. And it's just like, oh, so if I don't meet her expectations, just kill her 17 ways. Let me show you how. Like, immediately goes into like an ad for what to do if your woman don't like you no more. Very funny. I also kept thinking, how would they get through TSA with that freaking suitcase? This is a different time.
It was a different time. That's amazing.
Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We had so much fun watching and talking about this movie. We love doing it, and it's so fun to be back.
I know.
Doing more new season stuff. Ooh, I'm loving it. Keep coming back and listening. We have weekly episodes, and if you want to talk to us, give us your opinions on anything, or see the photos of the outfits we talked about, or our Keep and Kill votes in our stories, come to our Instagram at Dressed to Kill Pod. Or tweet at us on Twitter at DTKPOD. And enjoy. We love you. Thank you for coming by. Bye-bye.